Brandon Forbes, let's play a game of true or false. You ready?
I'm ready.
Brandon Forbes is a millionaire.
True.
Brandon Forbes won the SKOOL Games.
True.
Brandon Forbes has connected with Alex Hormozi.
True.
Brandon Forbes led Alex Hormozi to Christ.
False.
Brandon Forbes has ran over $60,000 in meta ads to invite people to his free Bible study.
Close. 58.
8,000. There you go. That's honest. Let's go. Close to true. On this Zoom Bible study, you have made an altar call and seen salvations.
True.
Brandon Forbes once baptized his mom at one of his business retreats.
True.
Let's dive in.
Let's do it.
Beautiful humans. Welcome back to another episode of the I Like Birds podcast. I'm your host, Zach Rippey, and today we have a business coach, a kingdom leader, a great man of God, Brandon Forbes. He's a father. He's a friend of mine, and man, he is a great man of God, and I'm excited he's here today. This episode actually would not be possible without our local DFW sponsors. My friend Wes is a man who was on a motorcycle accident whose life changed in a flash. Last March, he actually had a life-altering motorcycle accident, and then an off-duty firefighter saved his life. But as a result, Wes became a right leg amputee. This led him on a mission to help people. And here's the deal. 98% of people who have insurance use it at least once. So if you've got insurance, make sure you're actually protected and not just paying a bill. If your rates keep climbing every year, if your agent feels more like a bill collector than a human being, it's time to call my friend Wes at Farmers Insurance. Yep, bop, 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 bop. He'll get you a fresh proposal in under 30 minutes. He'll answer your questions and he'll tell you his story and probably show you his epic robot leg. So call or text Wes right now at 817-247-7827. And I'll also drop his number and the email in the link of the description of this episode. Another great sponsor that we have for this podcast is Alpha and Omega Pest Control. I like birds. I don't like bugs. If you're in the DFW and you got creatures roaming around your house, say no spirit is welcome here except the Holy Spirit. One call kills them all. Don't wait for them to multiply. Call Tim Davis right now at Alpha and Omega Pest Control. And if you do, this will be the beginning and the end of your pest problems. Call my friend Tim to have your home inspected and protected today at 817-426-4445. And if you'd like to be a sponsor of this podcast, drop us an email and we'd love to talk to you about it as well. So thank you so much to our sponsors to be able to make this episode happen. And man, I'm excited for this episode as we dive in with my friend, my brother in Christ, my coach, Brandon Forbes. What's up, man?
Let's go, bro. Glad to be here.
Dude, I'm pumped you're here. So you were my coach, man. I've been telling our audience we've been leaning into podcast coaching, and it's been a journey. It's been fun. It's been definitely stretching. It's been a little bit of a thing that I've had to learn because I don't know the business side of things very well. But you've definitely made it easier. You've been so helpful into like helping me understand what works, and I think there's value in that. It's like eliminate the fat. Get me away from my own self and out of the speed bumps and help me get on the path of excellence. Yeah. Your success is my success, bro. Yeah. Teach me your ways, you know? Yeah. So it's been great to be with you, man.
Dude, I'm excited, bro. Excited to be here and glad you're in my world.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's been fun. We've been able to connect. And dude, I actually saw you for the first time on an ad.
Really? That makes sense.
No, my buddy actually told me about you. I didn't see you on an ad at first until my buddy, his name's Jeff. I met this brother in Miami at a church, and he was, you were putting out like a story like, hey, who has a podcast, a Christian podcast or something? I'd love to jump on. And then he's like, bro, you should get this guy. I've been following him for years. You know, like he won the SKOOL Games. He was hyping you up. And I was like, all right, I'll reach out or whatever. Yeah. And your DMs were probably flooded at that point. But it's just crazy because that was like over a year ago. And now here you are in front of me, dude.
No way.
It's wild how that happens.
Crazy.
It is super crazy.
Yeah, it's the Lord for sure.
It is. Absolutely. So, bro, you've been coaching for a while now, and your business is very successful, dude.
Yeah.
So
praise God.
Man, how did that all come to be?
Yeah. I'll tell the short version of this, but essentially I went to Bible college and felt called to ministry. I was like, I'm going to be a pastor, which I do still think is on my life at some point. But I I just thought I was going to be like all in on ministry. And so that's what I focused on. And fast forward, I'm 21, I'm engaged. Me and my wife are about to get married. And the only thing I knew to do to make money was clean pools. And so like I'm literally cleaning pools, listening to sermons, and like making like $500-600 a week. And that was not enough money to pay our debts, which was like cars. I financed a ring, computer, like, school, all these different things. I didn't know how to steward my money. And fast forward, this guy at our church said, "Hey, bro, you should work for my mom." And I was like, "Dude, how much does she pay?" Like, this is more than,
That was the first question, not what she does.
Yeah. And I remember she paid very well, like 2 or 3 times more than what I was making. So I was like, I'll do it. And I started shipping boxes for a lady named Brooke Castillo, who owns something called the Life Coach School. They do like $50 to $60 million a year through their coaching business. So I worked there for like a year, and I didn't know, much about coaching other than Dave Ramsey, and like I was printing out these labels, and each one was either $297 or $25,000 per label of people paying her, and there was a lot of labels, bro. And
so that's a big difference.
Oh yeah, no, like literally, like
talk about high ticket,
yeah,
low ticket.
Like one label is like, dang, that's like half of my salary for the year. Here's label number 2, and then there's like 300 more. But so that began to like expand my mind a little bit of like, dang, like, and then so listening to Dave Ramsey, my wife and I paid off all of our debt and working at this job. COVID happened, and essentially I lost my job. I was like, crap, what am I going to do? Am I going to go back to cleaning pools? And then I realized she had a podcast. It was super successful, but she wasn't pulling clips out of it. And so like at the time, like this was like back when like the captions first got added to videos, if you remember that.
I do.
And I was doing it for my pastor for his sermons. And then I was like, hey, like, I know you don't need me anymore because we're not shipping anything, but what if I took over your social media? And then that kind of turned into an agency where I took on her and like some more clients. And then I realized people wanted to know how I was doing it more than wanting me to do it for them. So then I just kind of switched from doing stuff for people to just teaching.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. And
that was a long answer.
Yeah, no, that was good, bro.
Yeah.
It's it allows us to see where you were, your A to B. I believe a lot of like our journey, especially in Christ, is going from A to B. So what part of your like walk did you start to see like, okay, well maybe God has me in this coaching seat to be in the ministry still, just more of a workplace ministry?
Yeah. So I'll tell another side of the story to answer that fully. So it was, after that season of me starting the agency, like my whole life, I had wanted to make money. I grew up in a trailer house with, my mom and stepdad. Praise God, they're set free now, but they went through a season of like being addicted to drugs, meth, which was a very bad drug, and in and out of jail, like crazy stuff going on at our house. So I was like, man, I do not want to be like this. And so my whole life I had kind of like viewed money as hard to get, that it was only for X type of people, and that I would never have it. And so whenever I started that agency, that was the first time I actually made money, right? And so like we were maybe doing 15, 20K per month. And I was like, bro, like this is crazy.
I mean, that's a lot compared to the pools you're doing.
Yeah. And compared to like the friends in my circle.
Yeah.
And so like pride started to fill my heart. I remember I was serving at church, married and still drinking. And like, again, like I know people have different views, but for me, I was drinking too much, not every time, but once or twice a month. And the Lord told me not to, which is another thing. So it was a sin for me because he told me not to do it, right?
Yeah.
And so I just remember my heart getting hard. I was lukewarm, was struggling with lust. Like my marriage was not healthy. And I was just pursuing money over God. Like I would stay at the office till like 10, 11 at night, just like drinking whiskey and working. And the Lord basically told me to lay everything down and to move from Anna, Texas, which we were just building a new house, to not move forward with it and move to Caddo Mills, and basically shut down all my businesses and get a job.
Dude.
Yeah. And so I did that, and the Lord definitely came through. And so before I could use business as a ministry, I had to make sure that I was serving God, not money. Because many people, they'll put a bumper sticker, oh, I'm a Christian business owner. But in reality, you're just running a business and like you say you're a Christian. But yeah.
No, that's real.
Or are Christian.
So what are the like non-negotiables that are required to run a business that honors Christ while also making a ton of money?
Yeah. So I think the first thing is like understanding that making money isn't a bad thing. It's actually, my belief is that God wants us to prosper, right? And so prosperity wasn't the devil's idea, is my point. I think of the streets in heaven. Like you can go to the nicest city in America and go to the streets. It's, asphalt, like concrete. But if you go to heaven, the thing that people walk on here on earth, throw gum on, even in heaven, right? In heaven, it's made of gold, right? The thing we value the most, like watches, earrings, necklaces, like that's what they walk on in heaven. So prosperity isn't a bad thing. I thought it was a bad thing, right? I thought you had to do something wrong to get it. So just that alone can set a lot of people free.
For sure.
But then the second thing is you have to be a good steward, right? So it's like, if you can't be faithful with little, like God's not going to trust you with more. The third thing is like, I see a lot of believers, and I've been guilty of this in seasons, like in their prayer closet. And that's great, right? And in their word, and that's amazing. But that has to come with work, right? Faith without works is dead, right? And so many people have faith, but they never put their hand to the plow. What does that look like? Like, okay, I've got a product, I've got a vision, I'm going to tithe off the profits, I'm going to give above, but I don't know how to market. And so I'm going to go pray. That's amazing, right? Maybe the Lord will give you a strategy, tell you to connect with somebody. But if you don't get the skill or dedicate yourself to trying to acquire the skill, it's a bad stewardship, right? So just like you, like with this podcast, like if you wouldn't have took time to get the skill, like it would be very hard to do what you're doing, right? But yeah, I would say those are like the big things for sure.
Yeah. Is there non-negotiables in that as far as like, have you ever had maybe like a personal conviction in your business that you've had to like choose God over money?
Yeah. For instance, there's like certain people that tried to join my coaching program to like learn how to scale their coaching business, and they were coaching, on like shadow work or something. It's like, bro, what? Like not necessarily. Because I don't work just with Christians. However, I do attract like mostly Christians, it seems. But yeah, like whenever people want to pay you money to coach them on something that you're not, fully aligned with, like I've definitely said no to stuff like that.
Well, that's great. And yeah, I mean, as the, it's said this way, like the more haters you get just means you're reaching a wider net. But also I feel like it's kind of a similar sentiment when it comes to like the more you grow, the more your market grows, the more you attract even people that aren't, your target audience to where they do want to work with you, but you kind of have to put up some kind of like, we have a process too, if it's a right fit for you. Yeah. And it also just makes sense too, because you want your people to have a good experience when they work with you. I recently had a gentleman that was he wasn't even able to like handle my questions. So how could he handle my coaching? So I was like, he's not a good fit for the program, because he got kind of offended at me asking questions about numbers and things like that. And, just a whole thing, dude. It turned into a whole thing where I was just trying to get information about how to like, do better. But then like, it was just almost like, it felt like there was not the same yoke and spirit on him as that was on what I was trying to accomplish. So, and you're going to run into people like that, and so you have to very much so like guard that, and you have to make sure that you're honoring God with that. So so the SKOOL Games, I know our audience probably has no idea, some do, probably most don't, what the SKOOL Games are. I don't really know what it is. I know what the platform SKOOL is. I'm an Alex Hormozi fan. I watch and listen to a lot of his content. I believe he's very much so one of the best teachers that we have right now. And in the business side of things. And he even lost his mom recently, and I saw his post about that, which was unfortunate, but it also showed that he has an awareness of her faith in Christ and really respected that in her. So I'm kind of excited to see like what happens with Hormozi as time goes on. But the SKOOL Games, man, tell me about it, bro. Like, give it to me the story of how it all went down and like what that moment meant for you and your business and your life and your family.
Yeah. So the SKOOL Games is essentially through the platform SKOOL, which if you don't know what that is, Alex Hormozi and Sam Evans basically created a software, I would say, like a website with an app, whatever you want to call that, right? A platform for people to sell and host communities and courses and stuff like that, essentially. And they did something called the SKOOL Games, and I think it started in January or February. And basically, it's this contest to see who on the SKOOL platform can get the most recurring revenue in a 30-day period is what it was. Now it's every quarter, but at the time, every month. And so I'll give a quick backstory on this because it's a God story. It was December, I believe 2023, and I had this weird dream, bro. And like, I don't always.
I'm intrigued, dude.
Yeah, I don't always have dreams, but let me say it this way: I don't always remember my dreams. But I was in this dream, and I was at a whiteboard with Alex Hormozi.
And you didn't know him at the time?
No.
Okay.
And I didn't watch a lot of his content either. Like I knew who he was, but I wasn't like binging his stuff. Right. Didn't listen to his podcast, YouTube. I just saw like the Instagram reels here and there. And so I woke up and for some reason I just had like enough faith to say like, that's going to happen. And I was like, okay. And then it started like coming up in my spirit some more. I was like, that was a God dream. I don't know what it's going to do or mean, whatever. And so I remember telling one of my friends about it. Like, dude, I had this dream and like the Lord's going to make it happen. And then fast forward, the SKOOL Games starts in like January or February. And I see that. I'm like, maybe I could, win that. And like, that could be a part of my dream. Like I thought that. And I was like, no, I don't feel peace. And then it was March 31st. And for some reason, on that day, I was like, dang, I'm going to do the SKOOL Games in April. And that's what we did. And then we got top 10 and flew to Vegas to hang out with Alex at a whiteboard with the other winners. There's a picture of it. But dude, the craziest part about the mastermind there is here I am in Vegas and I'm the only one in the whole city sober. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But completely sober, like didn't drink anything. I woke up that morning at like 4:30 a.m. And dude, I got hit with like the craziest stomach bug, bro. Like I was so horrible. Sick. Yeah, it was literally horrible. And so like here I am like showing up to this mastermind. Sorry, Alex. I hope you didn't get sick. No, I'm kidding. But no, I mean, like, what was crazy is it was a God dream. It happened, but I was so sick that I couldn't even pay attention.
Wow.
Like, I really didn't get anything.
You were like present but absent in the mind.
So I was believing God, like, okay, you gave me this dream. You told me I was going to be here. I'm on my way. You've got something for me there. Like, I'm going to get a breakthrough. I'm going to get clarity. Something's going to shift. Like, that was my mindset. And then I get there. I get sick. I don't really get anything from it. And then I fly home and I'm just like, man, this sucks. Like I just invested all of this and nothing really came out of it. And it was like a month or two later, the Lord gave me this idea to run an ad instead of to a paid school group, to a free school group. And then now, fast forward, that made us over $1 million in sales. And now we have like 21,000 coaches, I think, in our free school group. So wow. Nonetheless, the Lord used it, and I wouldn't have had the idea if I wasn't there. Right. So like it might have taken 60 extra days for me to get the answer that I was looking for, but it still came. Yeah. So
he unlocked something for you there. And also just the social proof of this photo. I'm sure it adds a lot of value to it as well.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you're putting on for Christ there. I mean, look at the shirt. I mean, every time that picture is shown, like, it says SKOOL. But Jesus is King stands out, which is really cool.
Yeah, it does. Dude, cool story. So this guy right here, his name's Shark. He is one of my clients and was there too. And he actually joined my program. He was like a devout Muslim. His whole family is Muslim. and he came to a men's retreat. Like we do these men's retreats randomly, and he came, and my pastor was preaching, and like, bro, he just had an encounter with God, like completely wrecked. Yeah, all the extra stuff to like just encountered the Spirit of God, like
Weeping?
Yeah. Oh, weeping, like all of it. And
Go.
went to the altar. Yeah, like set on fire, bro. Then a year or so later, after this picture, because he had a program called the Gladiators, the Lord told him to lay down the program, which was a 7-figure coaching business. He laid it down, and now if you looked him up, he has like 170,000 followers, preaching to Muslims, like. I think had over.
I've seen him before.
Yeah,
I've seen his content
just
before.
got signed by Turning Point USA. Like he's he's reaching a ton of people. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. God can definitely move through business for sure.
Wow, and yeah, you've seen that firsthand, dude. It's so cool. So what? So you've won some awards as well, like the .com. What's the .com awards? What's it called?
ClickFunnels.
ClickFunnels.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you signed up for that as well. How did that whole process work?
Yeah. So those are what's called ClickFunnels awards. It's basically a software for sales funnels, and if you generate over 7 figures through one of the funnels, then you can get one of those.
That's pretty cool, dude. Isn't so the guy's Richard Brunson, right?
Russell Brunson.
Russell Brunson. Okay.
Yeah.
And he doesn't he have like a room that has like a whole bunch of those like in it or something like that?
Everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. So cool. Okay. So that's awesome. And he's very much so in trying to help a lot of people with a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so he is. So every coach needs a coach. So who is your coach?
Yeah, I've had a few different ones over the years, and right now the guy I listen to the most, he's not my coach right now. I do have one, but the guy I listen to the most is Myron Golden.
I love
so he's
Myron.
like coaching me from afar.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't have.
Are you going to join his program, dude?
Bro, it's like $350,000. So. Maybe in the next 10 years or so. I'm just kidding. No, one day, potentially. But another guy, his name's Dan. He's a super good dude.
Yeah.
From Australia.
Oh, cool.
That I get coaching from. So
does he coach you in business?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's usually like more so mindset and like just kind of like how I'm feeling and like stuff like that.
Keep you in check.
Yeah. Another guy I lean on a bit is Steve Weatherford, if you know who that is.
The name sounds very familiar.
Yeah, he's super good dude. Has a men's ministry in Frisco.
Okay.
Won the Super Bowl. Super cool guy. Yeah.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so what part of coaching would you say for you personally is more like helping people like personally, or what part of it is like implementation of like a process and a system?
Yeah, so that's something that's evolving for me because when I first started, just to kind of share a little context, like the Lord, I credit him to this at least, gave me this idea for a funnel, which was like 2022. And a funnel is just how to get clients essentially. And it works super well, like so well that like people were telling people and telling other people about it. And like,
yeah, that's huge. Bro.
Yeah.
It's not easy to do.
Yeah. And like, we were barely spending any money on ads at the time, like the follower ads or whatever. We'd spend $100 and get hundreds of followers, like all quality too. Like not like it is now where it's kind of like hit or miss. It's like all quality. And like it was just working extremely well for me. And then pretty much every client that joined the program, like immediately within like 3 days, like, oh my gosh, like so many right? And so the program at the time was called Kingdom Coach. And the whole vision was to help Christians, basically monetize their experiences and like turn it into education or, a transformation that they could make money from while helping people, right? That was the whole point. And that was like the heart of it. But the funnel like kind of overshadowed everything because it was like, yeah, okay, like Kingdom Coach, but how about this funnel? So like even people that weren't saved like whatsoever were like, dude, I want the funnel.
They want the formula more than they want the man.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So it works great when it works, but when that changes, right, then it's like, okay, on to the new shiny object, right? Because in businesses, there's always shiny objects, right?
Yeah.
The internet, AI, like whatever. So,
dude, do you see real quick? AI is like in the running for like man of the year.
I saw it has the #1 Christian gospel album too, so
It's
maybe
crazy.
it'll be the president soon.
Yeah, right.
I'm just kidding. Maybe actually. Who knows?
Continue. I'm sorry.
No,
Went down a little trail there.
no,
but-
yeah, no. I mean, it's just like, yeah, exactly my point. You could just get an AI coach. You
Yeah.
have all the information you could ever need.
Right.
So,
I mean, you literally can tell it to do that for you.
yeah. So, what I'm realizing, and this is like the last 2 weeks, by the way. So this is super
Fresh
fresh.
revelation. Let's go.
Yeah, is people are only going to be buying coaching wise, transformation, and a movement. Like
Interesting.
they want to be a part of a movement, right? And then they're buying the transformation, right? They're not buying the information,
Right.
right? Because now we actually all have all the information we need to do whatever we want to do.
How do you start a movement?
How you start a movement, that's what I'm digging into.
Yeah.
I think ultimately, for me at least, and I believe you too, you have to be somebody worth following, #1, right? If you're going to create a movement, there has to be a vision. And I think for us, it ultimately comes down to if we're on fire for the Lord and are following Jesus, people are going to follow. Because especially in our world, bro, there's a lot of people who talk the talk, right?
Yeah.
But not many actually walk it out. And people are hungry, bro.
They are hungry.
Like, I remember growing up, like when I was like 13, 14, 15, and I would try to like invite people to church at school. Like they weren't really about it. And I mean, there were some for sure, but it just didn't feel like it was a mass consensus of like, we need Jesus. But now, bro, like, I'm not kidding. Like whenever I talk to people, they're like, oh, I'm open. I'm open. I want to hear about it. And yeah, so I think that's how.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, Paul says, follow me as I follow Christ.
Yeah.
You know, so, and Paul was definitely a leader in the faith. You know, the churches were like gleaning to every word he said. You know, they were like anticipating his letters.
Yeah.
He was like, you better make sure I'm blessed when I get there and take care of my needs.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so he had like authority in that, you know, and so like us as believers in Jesus, we know that we have like a higher, you know, calling on our lives where we know that we can rely on God in ways that like the world can't. We know that like things are he's gonna provide in the 12th hour in the fourth quarter, so we can move in like a bold faith and take chances, you know. And I think people want that.
And if you think about what a movement is, it's moving to something and away from something.
Come on,
so
repent.
Yeah, no, I think there has to be a polarizing aspect to a movement, or else you just blend in.
That's true.
Yeah,
so it's like bold.
Yeah, so whether that's running from the ways of the world into, you know, the kingdom, or whatever it is. Like, for instance, just like even in business, not to keep it business focused, but you know, why would you do the carnivore diet? Because like counting your calories sucks. You're moving towards a solution and away from what everyone else is doing, right? So, and then you get this whole movement of like carnivores.
Yeah, dude, I've done it. It's fire.
Yeah,
it works really well.
I tried. It was like 2 days. Like I was like, man, I love chocolate, bro. I really do.
Yeah, you're a chocolate fan. That's your jam.
Yeah,
that's funny, man. If you guys are that are watching right now, enjoying this episode, make sure you share it, get it out there. I think there's a lot of wisdom in this episode specifically, and we're here talking with Brandon Forbes, a kingdom coach who's doing big things in the business world. You talked about your retreats, man. I'm kind of curious about that. I saw you recently went on one. And I also saw that you ended up baptizing your mom at one of your retreats, bro. So tell me that testimony, that story, because I know earlier in the show you talked about how was battling drug addiction, in and out of jail. You had to go live with your grandparents as a teenager, right, at one point, and then your mom eventually got set free. Yeah, like tell me about that, bro.
Yeah, so I skipped through a bit of the story, but yeah, my parents. Around 13, and like, dude, we had the cool house. Like everyone in high school would come over. We had like a half pipe to skate on.
Dude, that's cool.
My parents made good money. They were like aircraft mechanics, and so yeah, like it was amazing. 4-wheelers, go-karts. Like, we had a bunch of stuff, and yeah, it was my 12th or 13th birthday party. My stepdad injured his leg, and so he had surgery. It got infected. More surgeries, put him on pills, and he got addicted to those pills. And then my mom had something go on like with her brain, like a brain aneurysm or something, almost died. She got on pills. They both got addicted, and then it turned into like meth, and it just went like a crazy dark demonic rabbit hole of like in and out of jail, like crazy stuff. And yeah, I moved in with my grandparents, and I was like, I swear I'm never gonna do what they did. And I remember just like people all have pain, and then they medicate, right, with something, whether it's something that'll actually heal you, the presence of God, or an alternative. And so for me, I had pain. I didn't know how to, cope with it, right? So I, tried girls, like a bunch of different stuff, and eventually ended up smoking weed. And I turned into like the biggest pothead. So for like 3-4 years, I don't even know how long, until I had an encounter with God, I was just literally smoking weed every day. And so that I basically turned into what I said I wouldn't.
Mm.
And I remember I went to jail. So it was the night before homecoming, senior year. And me and my friend were just smoking, and this cop pulls up, and we're both 17. Like, dude, we're going to homecoming. Like, please don't take us, man. Like, we're freaking out, bro. And he's like, dude, you're going to jail, right? And so, like, yeah, went to jail. And dude, throughout that time, like, the part I'm not telling is I was a drummer at our church.
Oh, wow.
So drummer, basketball team, Christian guy, goes to jail. And I was like, man, I literally did the same thing they did. And like, basically was like just so convicted. And like my image, I had 2 images, like the image of Brandon at church, and then the image of me at the party, with the boys and hanging or whatever. And that for sure sucked, first of all. But yeah, and that's what led me to get right with the Lord. Okay, so fast forward to like about the retreats and like masterminds. I just want other people to have that same experience, right? And so I mentioned earlier, I felt called to ministry and business. And so it was like when Kingdom Coach started, like we started making more money, people were coming in for the funnel. And I was like, dude, what could we do to like just, add the Lord into this and like recreate that moment I had at 18 for other people. And so we did a mastermind in Dallas. It was 5 days notice. So like not much. Yeah. It was like
retreat.
But except everyone has to fly in. So very unorganized, last second. But we had like 28 people come.
That's great.
Yeah, like with 5 days notice. And what I did was like we had a bunch of sessions, and then the last session had my pastor come in and just preach. And like, bro, my pastor like is lit. So like just like gifts of the Spirit, like all that, whatever. And he came in, preached, and this guy, his name's Jeremy Degg. Similar story to Shark, but wasn't a Christian, was from California, never heard the gospel, and just gets radically saved, delivered, set free. And I saw that happen. And like I saw like almost all 28 people getting prayer and like responding. And I was like, dang, like there was like 6 people or whatever that just got saved. And so I was like, all right, I'm just going to do this every mastermind. So I'll have like 3 business masterminds a year. And then we'll do 2 prayer retreats for men only. And so the prayer retreats are like definitely only like focused on ministry. So it's like 4 sessions on just like prayer, spending time with God, and like having people come in. But business, what I'll do is like we'll talk about ads, funnels, sales, marketing, all that. And then the last session, we'll just bring up a worship team and like not tell anyone. So no one's ever gotten mad yet, but yeah.
Dang, dude.
Yeah.
I love that. So your mom.
Yeah.
How did that like?
The baptism. Yeah. So dude, I remember I was at Bible college at CFNI. And like I would be in the dorm just like praying, bro. Like literally 12 a.m., 1 a.m. at night, just praying. Me and a couple friends, specifically probably like 20, 30 times. Like we'd be at prayer nights, and like I would mention my mom and stepdad. And we're just believing for her to get set free. And so it was about 5 years ago, which was quite a bit of time after Bible college. But 5 years ago, she got out of jail, which I do think it helped her that time because she was in there for like 2 or 3 years. But she got out, and this time she went to church and just, I guess you could say, had an encounter with the Lord. And I think she ultimately in the past, she made choices, right? Bad choices, but she would make a choice to like, oh, I'm not gonna go back. But if you make a choice, you can choose something different the next day. I think this time she made a decision, which means decide means to cut off, right? So she cut off the opportunity to even go back. And so I think it was definitely an encounter with the Lord. And then me having kids, I think helped. Like now she's a grandma, so she's like, she can't, go back. But yeah. And so she came to one of the masterminds to babysit those kids. And we were doing baptisms for people who got saved at the mastermind. So we did like 2 or 3. And then somebody like pointed at my mom and was like, she wants to get baptized. And so, yeah, she came into the pool and we baptized her, which was awesome.
How did that feel for you?
I'll be honest. I didn't think I had a lot of like hardness in my heart towards her that I didn't deal with. Which, I guess you could say it became numb. Right, because like there was like a lot of bad stuff, bro, that I didn't even talk about. So it was like, okay, I love you, but like, whatever.
I've been hurt.
Yeah, I've been hurt. And so in the moment, it was almost like a euphoric feeling. If you like, honestly, like I didn't feel anything, which might be bad, but
no, that's
but I was definitely happy. And like the more I think about it now, like 2 years later, or whatever, it definitely has softened my heart for sure. But in the moment, I think the Lord was still healing me of some of that stuff personally.
Yeah, for sure. And I love that. That's real and that's honest, because it's like people have a very similar story out there, and I know that, and we have to have a like honest perspective of how it was in that moment, but like still seeing God's goodness in that.
Yeah.
And it's still part of your testimony. And I think it's going to continue being part of your testimony, because it's going to help people out there, that came from a similar situation. And, you went from having a glamorous, like at least childhood for you at the time to
definitely.
like completely, what just happened, like a huge crash essentially in your upbringing.
Yeah.
And then you had to like pull yourself out of that and figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
And that's hard. And then when you see like, you almost feel like you had to be the parent in ways.
Yeah. And I will say this, like I did have my dad who was great. And like, as far as like never like struggled like with anything like financially, or like wasn't there for me. And my grandparents were amazing. And like, I just think I was hurt, so I couldn't even honor them and receive from them. And then ultimately I was just immature and stupid.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. But yeah.
Yeah. And at least we know that, the young mind, frontal cortex doesn't develop until 25.
Yeah. When you're in it, like,
you're just, like, I just listened to Theo Vaughn, Matthew McConaughey, and they had a big segment on their podcast that made me really think, because I have kids and you have kids. I have a 12-year-old, and what they said really kind of rocked me, where they were talking about like, when you're young, you don't really know what feelings are or how to deal with them. And you don't really know how to think, and you don't really know like what thoughts are coming your way and how to like navigate through that.
Yeah.
And when they said that, it kind of opened my eyes, like, man, I need to like really help my 12-year-old like understand these things. But then I started thinking about it, dude. And I was like, I don't even know if I know these things yet.
Yeah.
Like I still am like a response like bomb, sometimes when it comes to like how I am at home, something triggers and I'm just like, I don't even know why I'm feeling this way.
Yeah. And like, dude, just getting onto that, like the older I'm getting, the more I realize I actually don't know. And like the Bible talks about signs, wonders, and miracles. And it's like, oftentimes we're very quick to signs, okay, miracles, but there's also wonders, right? Apostle Paul talks about the mysteries.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree, bro. Mysteries, man.
You're a dad of 2 small kids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 small kids.
2.5 and then 8 months.
Yeah. How has fatherhood changed your walk with Jesus as well as your life and business?
Yeah. I think it's currently still changing, but like I remember myself whenever I first started, like I made the story sound a little bit like the Lord spoke to me and I had this idea for a funnel that, built a 7-figure coaching business. But the part people don't see is the 14-hour days, Monday through Saturday, for like a year or two. And so like that, I don't know if it was just fatherhood, but definitely a season of just like radical focus, probably a little too much, honestly. But now having kids, like, that's impossible to do. I mean, I guess you could, but if you want to have any time with them, right, you can't work 14-hour days.
No, for sure.
And so it also made me realize, like, what is the thing I'm working for? And so, like, even with like your time, right, you're saying yes to something and saying no to something. And so one thing I don't want to say no to anymore is, spending time with them. And so I think it changed my thoughts in a time perspective. Also, the fact that I'm even thinking like that definitely changed, my thoughts around what I'm doing, who I'm doing it for. And ultimately, like this one is the one that hit home the most. Like the other day, me and my son were in our living room, and my wife's Bible was on the coffee table, and I just picked it up, and he was like, "No, that's mommy's." I was like, "No, let me look at it." He's like, "No." And he doesn't usually do that. He was like, "That's mommy's," and like took it from me and put it back on the coffee table. And I got so convicted, bro. I was like, this dude doesn't even know where my Bible is.
Wow.
Because he's never seen me read my Bible in front of him. And like the Lord, sometimes he'll like, love on me. Sometimes it's like a little bit convicting. I'm like, frick, let me be the dad that prays for my son. I want him to see me reading the word, actually living it out, not just talking about it. And so I think that's where my head has been a lot more recently too.
That's good.
Yeah.
Are you proud of yourself?
So that's a deep question. I would say yes, on the podcast, but oftentimes when I'm alone, like the answer would be no. Yeah.
What needs to shift for that to take place?
I think what it is still a process of uncovering false beliefs, right? And so like, it used to be definitely no, right? And so like people could like see the accomplishments of like, the SKOOL Games, like ClickFunnels awards, whatever. But the thing is about humans and us is like, we know the real us, right? And so I think there's areas that I don't think I could change in my own strength. I think it's just letting the Lord bring me in and certain like deeper revelation and just like little things. So I'm proud and where the Lord has taken me so far. That's how I would say it. Yeah.
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 That's good. I like that a lot. Yeah. It makes you take a second.
Yeah.
To really just like think about that, because so many times like Thanksgiving like was great for us, but those are 4 days that I'm having to like kind of sit still.
Yeah.
When you sit still, you do a lot of reflecting and like, I did something, this was kind of weird, but I'm gonna share it.
Yeah.
I did something that kind of hurt me for like an hour. I went on chat and ChatGPT, that is for all the elderly folks that listen to the show.
Yeah.
Which is it's a chat bot. And
They're
like,
kind
what's
of
a chat bot?
Chat bot.
I'm trying to delay to get to the point. Okay, so there's a show called Modern Wisdom and the Diary of a CEO. Right, those two shows are interesting to me. They're podcasts, and they've turned like, I don't want to say they were nobodies, but they were like not somebody that the public was familiar with. And yet they turned their podcast into this like machine, like this huge media platform that is very much so like having on just powerful guests, educational guests. The content is fire. They're doing like big things. And so I just asked chat, like, what were the common things that they did to reach the level that they're at? Because I wanted some kind of like, where are we going? Like, what is, we're having some cool things happen, big guests coming on the show, ramping up production, leaning into podcast coaching. And, I'm just kind of like vision casting essentially and thinking through some things. And, it just like laid out like 10 different things. And I was like, I don't know if I have the capacity or bandwidth to do any of those things. Yeah. And then I even like, I gave it like my numbers as far as like the budget, like what goes in, what comes out. And then it was like, whoa, you need to slow down. You need to
Yeah.
tighten. You need to, like, it basically was just like kind of ripping me for like even thinking to be on the modern wisdom level or whatever. But it was like, it was just one of those things where it made me just kind of like, not to compare, because I don't think that's good, but I definitely think there's like fresh insight and like knowledge on like, okay, how do you turn what you're doing into something that is like able to be, you know, growing in a way that makes sense for the future, your family, and everything else that you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned 14-hour days. We're not doing 14-hour days, but we put a lot of time and resources and effort and energy into this thing. And I almost got like, I saw where I should have done some things earlier in the journey as far as monetization goes, as far as like trying to like, you know, I was just like, God's just going to breathe on it, God's, you know, but it's like the action part, you know, the strategy part. I wasn't really thinking of that until recently. So now I'm just kind of like, dang, like I feel like I missed the boat a little bit, and now I'm scrambling, and the rope is towards the end, and I'm like trying to like hold on to it, you know?
Yeah. No, I feel you. I 100%. And like that's the thing is like, why do people like? Why would someone say if they're listening? Like if you ask yourself this question, I've never been asked that, but it hit really deep. Are you proud of yourself? I guarantee you, most people right now are probably feeling like, no. Why? Confidence. But what does confidence come from? It comes from truth and being honest, right? And you can be honest with most people, but most people aren't honest with themselves. And so nobody knows all the lies you've told, but you, right? And so like most of the times we tell most of the lies to ourselves. I'm going to go to the gym next week. Monday, 7 a.m. You wake up at 8:30. You just lied to yourself again. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to, right? And so your word becomes untrustable, right? And then it's hard to be proud of yourself if you don't trust your own word, right? So I think that is, you know, something the Lord's bringing me into is like, it's one thing for my word to carry weight with other people, right? But I don't want to be somebody who my own words don't carry weight with myself, right? And so, yeah, that's a good question, bro.
Yeah, well,
are you proud of yourself?
Yeah, it's one that just ponder, you know, just like even vision cast. You know, are you a vision guy for like 2026? Like, are you visioning boarding things up? Like, it's almost like what's the thing that's going to put a smile on my face, like when I take a picture, you know, with something. What's the thing that I'm going to like, you know, like, yeah, we did that, you know, or like we checked that thing off, and like, I'm glad we checked that thing off, you know, like, what is it going to be that's going to allow you to be proud of yourself in that?
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, I think where I'm at is, you know, a man has a plan that seems right in his own way or whatever, you know, but it's like, I'm kind of getting burned out on like the get vision for like a Lamborghini and a cool house and like, you know, multiple 7 figures or whatever right? So I'm really big right now on getting a kingdom vision. So what that looks like for me is I'm going to fast the first 3 weeks of January and believe God to speak to me, right? Because I've done the other stuff, and I've definitely fasted before, but a God vision is much better than you know, just a vision board. And I agree with having vision. Like the odds of you achieving it are way higher if you write it down. You know, the Bible says to write it down. You know, but I definitely am at a place where I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm willing to do whatever you want me to do. You can take whatever you want. You can increase whatever you want. Just really, I want to live a life laid down, right? And so that's kind of where I'm at on the vision thing. Yeah.
Are you kind of already walking in that when it comes to your Bible studies, that where you run ads to it to get people in there to experience salvation?
This is going to be really good.
Yeah.
So God looks at the intent. He doesn't just look at what you do, right? He looks at why you do it. And so, for instance, you could heal the sick, raise the dead, you know, lead people to Jesus, and him say, "Depart from me, for I never knew you." So it's it used to be, verse. I know, right? It used to be like, okay, like I'm doing the coaching business and I have a Bible study, I'm good, right? Like that could be one way to look or perceive it, but ultimately, it's just the intent of the heart. And so the Lord's been dealing me with that. even more. And like, I don't think I ever had like an evil intent or bad intent, but I do think throughout the journey, like there was moments of pride. That's why I'm careful to say I'm proud, because I have been prideful at times. Like to go from $500 a week to like having 50, 60K days, like it's kind of like messes with your thoughts around money. Like, oh bro, I'm amazing. Right.
Yeah.
And then it's like, no, God is, like I didn't get here on my own strength, so.
Yeah. I mean, that is crazy. And I don't know what that world is like. And I couldn't imagine you're what,
29. Yeah.
29. Jeez,
yeah.
bro. I can imagine
that all kind of happened to like 26.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was immature still, like leading up to that. Like it wasn't really until like 25, I think I grew up a little bit.
If God were to or something in life were to happen to where basically your business is poof and, you're not making that kind of money. How do you feel like you would deal with something like that or walk that out?
That's a good question. I think a couple months ago, not good, but now I truly believe that I have faith for two things. A, to know if I'm walking through it, that there's a purpose on the other side, which is kind of the same as the second one, which is that I'm not going to stay there, right? Because the Bible says we go from glory to glory.
Come on.
Right? And so if that happens, I know that God's got something on the other side of it. And I've got words about, just things that I haven't walked in yet. Probably similar to you, like when you were talking about the podcast. Comparing to like those other two big ones, it's like in your heart, in your mind, like in your spirit, like maybe the Lord already spoke to you that you would be at X, Y, Z place. And it's like, no one else would look at this studio and what you've done so far and say like, dang, you're not doing big things, because you are, but you see the God vision and you see the end goal of where you're going, and the gap feels huge. Right. And so that's the same with me. It's like, by no means do I feel that I've arrived. And so I still I feel like there's still a long journey.
There is. Right. Yeah. Especially because you zoom out and you're like 29, I'm 32. Yeah. It's like, we have
a lot of time.
We got time to run still. We got time to these visions to come to pass. And God's always given like fresh wisdom, fresh insights, ideas, revelation. And strategies to be able to execute on that.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
I've been in Genesis recently, man, just diving into the story of Joseph. Dude, that dude strategized with the Lord. Yeah. And he had people don't talk about Joseph enough. This dude was like a man with so much character and integrity and just gems. He just did things well with excellence. And he was figured out how to be profitable. He figured out how to he moved with business savviness, and respect to him. So I love me some Joseph. And it was prophesied over me about a year ago that I was walking into a Joseph spirit. So I've always held on to the name of Joseph and his story very strongly. And I kind of dove into it again and had a new lens on it, which was really cool. So definitely see that happening. And I think in business as an entrepreneur, you can very much so, I want to hear your thoughts on this, because you can very much so think about the next thing and, oh, we're not doing enough, or we didn't make as much as last month, or things aren't looking like they once were. What is the mindset you have to have in those seasons?
That's a good question. I would say that I'm walking through one right now in real time. Like I talked about the Instagram funnel. Whenever it first came out, it was this big wave that I was able to kind of surf on in the sense of Brandon started this new funnel. I didn't realize how many coaches there are in the world. There's hundreds and hundreds of thousands, right?
I didn't even know what coaching was until 5 years ago.
Yeah, maybe there's millions. There's definitely millions. But point is, this funnel was kind of just, it had a name for itself, right? I was just a person that kind of came up with it. But 3, 6 months, a year later, a lot of people just started copying it because it was easy to copy. And other people started teaching it. And over time, the wave kind of went down. And so, business is always changing and there's always waves. Yeah. And so where I'm at now is praying for a new wave to surf on. Right. And so a lot of things stay the same, but the method, changes a bit of how you accomplish it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. That makes sense. And yeah, I love that you said about wave, because we went viral last year, and it was a huge wave. And I was like, man, we're
about to take over the world.
We
Yeah.
ain't never going back.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because like it was huge. It was like a huge episode that we had with a girl that had an amazing story, and all these pro-life organizations picked it up. News stories picked it up. The standalone episode had like almost 200,000 views on it, and then subscribers jumped. Everything, popped as far as numbers go and stuff like that. But people didn't really stick around. They were there for that. And then like the wave kind of fell in a way that I was like, man, that's a bummer,
Yeah.
But also I wasn't prepared for the wave either.
Yeah.
So when that wave came, I didn't really know what to do with it in a way of like capturing, the most out of that moment and out of the like, like building an email list and, getting people more plugged in and, and just, I didn't have any of those like insights at the time. About any of that, so it just kind of came, and I just thought like that was it. And then I started a new job like right in that moment, got a job at my church. And so it was kind of like that was all happening. I was going a different direction, but still trying to focus on this. And then so kind of missed it, I feel like, as far as like, but then I listened to an artist named Russ. He's know who he is? He has a lot of really good wisdom on interviews and stuff. And he was talking about like, the next wave is coming, but in the meantime, until that next wave gets there, make sure you're preparing yourself for that next wave to come, and you're putting in the systems and operations and the foundation, and putting up basically the sails for the wind to blow again. So that's something that I've been like in this season. We have like a lot of cool things happening. All right, what am I doing on the back end to like make sure that we are able to ride this wave? So I'm sure there's something like that the Lord's going to be giving you in this season too.
Yeah, 100%, bro. And it's cool you mentioned the wind, because I was like, man, what creates the waves? The wind.
Come on.
Right? And so we need God to breathe on what we're doing. Ultimately,
yes.
I mean, again, like you could hustle in your own strength. And so like I got a word similar. Well, I actually have the same basic word of like a lady prophesying over me about being a Joseph. And so I'll share the story because I think it kind of sums up this point. But a few years ago, I was preaching or speaking at a Kingdom Business Summit thing. And the pastor the next day was like, I want you to stay for our night service the next day. And so I did. And he like called me out and was like, Brandon, come up here. I want to pray for you. And he was like, I've never said this before. I don't do this. So I feel like it's the Lord. And if it's not, test it. But he was like, I see you making $1 million a month and being able to fund churches and like missions and like all this stuff.
That's huge.
And so the Lord had kind of already spoke that to me briefly. And then I, came home that Monday. We had our team meeting for like my business. I was like, guys, we're going to $1 million a month, right? We're going to scale. And so like turned up the ads, hired more people, and then business, like, I mean, we were still growing, but not
the way that you
not
were,
the way
the
I wanted
volume
to.
you were expecting it to.
Yeah, not the volume, not the way I wanted to. And then 3, it felt heavy. Like just all the team members and like just didn't feel like there was favor on it. And so I think that is a perfect picture of trying to produce the promise in your own strength.
Oh, for sure.
Right. Instead of waiting, like, because he never said when, so my thought was like in 3 days, right? But the Lord might be in 3 years, right?
Yeah, no, for
30
sure.
years, whatever. So yeah, I think there is like the faith for God to fill the gap between where we're at and then where we feel called to go. Because if we can get there ourselves, then it's not, a God dream anyways.
No, absolutely.
Because we can just do it in our own strength.
Yeah, no, that's a good word. And that's where we're at too. We have to understand that we are glorifying God with our business, our platforms, our lives, our families, our walk. And man, I think about Jesus nonstop throughout the day, and it's like, I want to make sure I'm glorifying him, honoring him, because he's done so much for me. And just like, even just like the resurrection, the crucifixion, like all of that, like that is the most like important part of this journey, is having people understand, we went from death to life in Christ Jesus. And our business can do that. Our business can point people to him, our ministry, our family, everything that we're doing, everything our hands are touching can be all pointing back to God as the source, So I love that you say it's not on our own strength, it's on him but definitely like, Lord, what do you want me to do in this season?
Yeah.
Like guide my steps.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
like,
Yeah.
open the doors that you want me to walk through,
Yeah.
you know, and shut the doors you don't want me to walk
Yeah.
through. Cause I'm tired of walking through doors that shouldn't be for me, you know?
Yeah.
And, so that's good stuff, bro. And I think he's proud of you, and I'm proud of you, bro.
Amen. Yeah.
Man. So thanks for coming on today, bro.
Yeah.
This was
Sure
fire.
thing. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. So where can people find you if they want to get plugged in with what Brandon Forbes is doing?
Yeah. Instagram would be the best. It's just at I am Brandon Forbes. There's a school group link on there. And then my YouTube channel. So
okay, awesome, man. Well, I'm thankful for everything you're doing for helping people, helping business leaders and coaches, and all those retreats sound awesome. And the Bible study that you're doing faithfully every single week, and salvation calls happening, bro. You're the first person who told me about Charlie Kirk.
No way.
Getting killed, unfortunately, martyred. And I remember you like shared that, and I was just like, whoa, that day rocked me. You know? So
it was crazy.
I mean, I feel like we've had like unique like interactions already. Like, you know, we've had like this, like, it's been cool, man. It's been really cool. And I know you're doing work with Faith Hustle. You've been going on the tour with my boy McQuinda, which is awesome.
Yes, sir.
And you're going to Austin this Thursday, you said as well?
Yeah, this Thursday.
That's awesome, man. It's going to be blessed. Has that been very fruitful for you guys?
Yeah. People have been getting saved and coming up for prayer, and I think getting a lot out of it.
That's awesome, bro. Well, I'm happy you're doing that. That's so cool. And
I think we built like 5 wells, maybe.
Come on.
Yeah.
Water
Uganda.
wells. I love that. Yeah, I sewed into that that night I was there in Fort Worth.
So each one, I think, gives 1,000 people clean water.
Come on.
Which is crazy.
That is so crazy. Yeah. And I've been to Uganda, bro. That's what my first book is about.
No way.
And they fetch water, bro. So they'll go and they get like from the water well. I've seen it. They carry water every single day from one spot to their home.
Wow.
In a big yellow container.
We're so blessed.
And they put it on their head sometimes too. Like you see like a mom like put it on her head and just like hold it up there, bro. Like, it's wild. But like they're grateful. They're thankful that there's water there. You know? There's a daily bread there that they seek after. So super cool you guys are doing that. For everybody watching, guys, thank you for being here. This was cool. Be a bro, share the show, get it out there, and help more people with their faith journey and with their business journey. And we're just so blessed that you are here with us, supporting us. We appreciate it. If you want to support us monthly, I know, come join us, join the community, come to Patreon. We got exclusive content on there. We release every episode early on there. And we also have exclusive discounts. And we also, if you're local and you're a listener, you get access to the live shows that we do for free, which means you don't ever have to buy a ticket, which is a huge blessing in my opinion, because who doesn't like coming to free events, you know? So support us on Patreon, patreon.com/ILikeBirds. And we're thankful for every single person that signs up and supports us. Truly, it is the greatest way you can support the channel and ministry and the podcast. And we also got these hats. I Like Birds. Come on. We got these hats. Go to ilikebirdsministry.com/shop and you can support us by being a walk-in billboard for this show. And then you can answer the question of why are you wearing a hat that says I Like Birds? And then you can explain to them that it's a show about Jesus, and then they might get saved. So it's a beautiful thing. So thank you for being here. Don't forget, I like the Bible and I like words. So therefore, I like birds. See you next time. I like birds.